Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we are doing the Unstuff Your TBR Cursive Edition. Now, this is a collaboration video with a few other ladies on BookTube. I will leave their channels and or their videos down below. Every other month, we choose a theme to read down our shelves. So for me, this was my pick of the month. I chose Cursive because I tend to notice that a lot of Black romances or urban romances that I particularly fancy have cursive either on the cover, on the spine, or inside of the pages. So I knew this was a way for me to read down a few books on my shelves. Now, I personally chose this because I had two books that I wanted to read. For this video, I will be reading Somebody's Husband by Robbie Renee, and I will be reading If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry. Now, spoiler alert, this is me filming this after I have already read them, and so I can tell you these two have some of my top book boyfriends for 2026. I'm going to get into this and let you know as I read what I'm thinking about this, but let me tell you, these are both very emotional, very hard-hitting, very, very interesting once you get to the last 20% of the pages because things come fast. But I had a great time reading this, and I hope you can tell it through the video. So I'm going to start off with Somebody's Husband, and then I'll wrap up the video reading If You Stayed. I wish I could have got to more books because I have a ton on my shelves with Cursive, but these are the only two that I got to. So let's talk about Somebody's Husband. Okay, I'm about to go take my dog out on a walk, and while I am walking, I will be listening to Somebody's Husband by Robbie Renee. This is the first book that I'm reading for my Unstuff Your TBR Cursive Edition. So you can see Somebody's is in cursive, and the chapter titles are also in cursive, which I really enjoy. I'm trying to see if I can get to a page with that, but obviously it's not my friend. So like the chapter titles are in cursive, and so this is the first one that I'm reading. Now, I read Somebody's Wife and Somebody's Forever last year. Absolutely love them. Robbie Renee is a St. Louis native, so she is kinfolk, and I'm already loving being back in her world. Her writing is so damn good. Let me tell you this. I knew coming into this was going to be a heavier book. It was going to be about grief because our main male character, Dr. Dresden Xavier, he has lost his wife. And so he has twin 19-year-old girls. We start off the book by him and his wife going in and purchasing a home. 22 years later, he is walking out of that door with his 19-year-old girls ready to pack up and move back to Monroe, which is a town we get to learn about in Somebody's Wife. Now, Robbie says you do not have to read these in sequence. Now, I personally would say read Somebody's Wife and Somebody's Forever before getting to Somebody's Husband if you want to get a feel for her writing, if you want to get a feel for what Monroe is like. However, this is completely standalone. It is not considered a series. However, in this one, he's coming back to Monroe, which is his hometown, and he is about to restart his life, bringing his girls back to his family. Now, what I find interesting is I knew the premise of him being a doctor and starting these trials, and he was going to meet our FMC. Now, the book suggests that there is somebody in our FMC whose name is Harper, her life, that is going to need treatment. What I did not expect is that person to be her husband. Yes, you heard me correctly. So both of them are going through something extremely painful, extremely unique to their circumstances. He has just lost his wife for 22 years, and she has been with her husband for 20 years. Now, I'm reading this expecting all of my emotions to come from Dr. Dresden and that she was just going to be the woman that's there and was going to help him through it. Not coming in expecting her to be also going through something that is harrowing, that she has to watch the man who she has built a life with perish, right? I did not expect that. When I first read her first scenes, and let me say, this is all told or narrated from a male's voice. And I'm like, oh, baby Robbie, you're doing something here. Like, I know that the character on the cover is a man, but I never thought a male would be narrating the entire thing. I thought it would be at least a dual narration. And I'm loving experiencing this and walking through this journey with the male narrator doing the entire thing, even the female's point of view. And he is doing such a good job. So if you have not listened to Dylan Ford before, I would say checking out this one. Now we start in her POV and we see her flashback into her meeting her husband. And she was working at this diner and he was a trucker, and she meets him and he is immediately enamored with her. And she's like, I don't have the time of day. And she truly doesn't have the time to give to this man, Terrence, her husband. Now, Terrence is like, okay, well, you're studying really hard. What are you studying for? She's like, I am going to school for economics and I can't be bothered. And he's like, how you know I can't help you? The man said, quiz me and I got you. Just because I'm driving this truck, you think that I don't know anything about business? Baby, I'm going to school to be a business major. And he swept her off her feet by his sheer intelligence. And I was like, okay. I can see that both Dresden and Harper had true loves of their lives. They have lived, they have built, they have experienced the joys of what a marriage could bring. And now being able to see her go through this with her husband and how it's going to unfold between the love story between her and Dresden, I am tapped in. Because again, let me tell you about Harper's husband. He met her and he fell in love with her. And when she stood up, she was already pregnant. She already had a baby cooking in the oven. And that man said, I'm going to step up and be the daddy. Excuse me. You are watching the love of your life, who sounds like an amazing man, die. And it's already hard to read. Y'all know I'm an emotional person. I just can't imagine, me being the big Cancer that I am. Birthday was this past Sunday. I'm already filled with emotion right now. I have had friends and family pour into me. I'm taking the time off. I am doing some self-care. I am all in my feels right now. Truth be told, coming off my menstrual cycle. So I'm going through a lot emotionally, and I chose for this to be the first book that I start off the video with. If I cry, you know why. So I'm going to come back and let you know what I think about this. I'm going to take my dog on a walk so she does not bite me in the ankles, which she's never done, but today may be the day. Talk to y'all soon. I'm sweaty and I look a mess, but I need y'all to know Robbie Renee is writing the hell out of this book. All right, y'all, I'm here to do a quick check-in and let you know I am reading If You Stayed by Brittany C. Cherry. Y'all, one thing about Brittany Cherry, this woman knows how to immediately grasp your attention, immediately lock in to your emotions, and pull you in the story with her. The way this book opened up, I was like, yeah, I'm sad. Here I am. I'm already feeling for our FMC and our MMC. This is an amnesia trope, and it's like a childhood best friends to strangers into lovers. Now, this one starts off really heavy. Our FMC Kiera is crying profusely. Like, she is so remorseful. She is in the hospital and she is crying to Gabriel's parents because we find out that something happened with Gabriel and his half-brother or stepbrother, Elijah. Now, in this, we find out that Elijah dies and our male main character, Gabriel, his status is undetermined. Now, we know from the premise of this book that something happens and Kiera feels like she is responsible, and his parents are actually holding her responsible and accountable. Like, she is saying, I am so sorry, I never meant to happen, I don't know, could you please forgive me, what's going on, give me a status with Gabriel. Now, we don't know exactly what happened. I'm sure we'll find that later in the book, because the way that Brittany is writing this, she is writing it in the past and present tense, and because of the amnesia trope, you kind of have to do that, and it's going so well. Now, we get to see that, past the prologue, right? So once we get into like saying something happens to where Gabriel is injured or harmed and Kiera is at fault, we now jump into the present time frame in which Kiera is now married. She's been married to her husband, Henry, who is this genius tech mogul that has a daughter. And while the daughter is not her biological daughter, she has been the only mother that Ava, the child, knows. And so she is really staying in this marriage with her husband, Henry, because of Ava, because he's threatened, if you divorce me, you'll never see our daughter again. And of course, she has built this bond and this relationship with this girl because she's known her since the little girl was 5. And yet she is in this horrible marriage. It is very much giving Stepford Wives. It is very much giving, yes, you may be a billionaire, you make a lot of money, but you are the scum of the earth and you try to control everything. Very much the reason why I can see this being like the opposite. If you don't like the billionaire trope because you know that the strings attached are coming and they're too hefty to pay, this is the type of book that lets you know everything that glitters isn't gold, because she is married to Henry. And again, Henry is very brilliant. He has built his industry where he is doing this robot that is very much giving a Disney version of Smart House, where it anticipates your needs and it essentially tells you what you need. Like, if you don't know if you want coffee, or because the coffee is being made now you want it, because he has programmed the house and he has programmed the technology to do everything for you. Basically, it can alter your emotions, which is very, very scary living in today's present society with how much AI is impacting us. I can see why this is so in the now, and it's very scary, but it's very realistic. So she is in this marriage with Henry, and Henry is like, yeah, I control everything. And he is now having this dinner party, and you get to just see how much like she has to balance her emotion. Now, Kiera is a therapist. Now, she is a therapist, and you're like, if you are so into emotions and you're giving people advice, why isn't your ish together? And that's where things get difficult, because again, people can give advice, but they can't take their own advice. And she is here for Ava, the daughter. Now, Ava loves her dad. She thinks he's the sun, the moon, the stars. And so she has to balance this really tight rope of saying, okay, I don't want to be with your father, but I want this relationship with you. And I don't want you to feel a certain way about me because how I feel about your father, but I hate the man. And so she's at this party, and her husband has made her choose the dress, put her on a smile, do all of the things, right? So she is very much giving robotic energy, which is very much what Henry wants. Now, Henry introduces her to a person that he is trying to woo in a business aspect, which is, come to find out, is Gabriel. And so he's like, hey, I want you to meet this guy, brilliant architect. This is Gabriel Sinclair. And at that moment, her entire world shatters. Like, she literally drops the glass that is in her hand, and her husband is like, pull it together. And she can't seem to pull it together because the man that's standing in front of her, who has the same eyes, the same build, the same aura about himself, is the man that she lost many, many moons ago. And she is like, what is life? And how am I in this situation? And that is where we end up. Now, I realize I have been talking about If You Stayed, and I never gave you all my final thoughts on Somebody's Husband. Let me say this. I don't know if I could be Nina and or Terrence in this situation, because you mean to tell me I have been married with the love of my life for 20 plus years. We have had our ups and downs, but nowhere near where it was to the point where I felt like I could tell you, once I leave this earth, you need to be with somebody else. All of the love that I know that you could give, all of the good piping I know that you can give, the good punani, all of the good things that I know that you have to offer, I want you to find that and give it to somebody else. I'm too selfish for that. I'm too selfish to do the things that Nina and Terrence did. But maybe it's because the two of them were literally born on the same day. The irony of both of them having their late spouse share the same birthday, and now they have to live with their presence in their lives and living through that through their kids and deciding that they want to be together. Like, my gosh, the coinky dink is too much. Like, this is really telling me what faith and God has in store for you, because he said, y'all have more in common than y'all think. And I'm trying to put y'all together, and yet y'all are fighting every step of the way. But no more, my plan will be done. Because one thing about Robbie Renee, she's going to write it to where faith is brought into the book. When I tell you, I love a man that prays over his woman. I love a man that brings in stability, that makes sure that they teach morals and values. Dresden, as I said at the beginning of this video, is a book husband. He's not even book boyfriend material. This man was made to be somebody's husband. And the longer I see it here and I resonate with it, I'm like, yeah, I totally see that this man right here was the one, the two. And the way that Robbie wrote him, like, she wrote him that is literally, this man had to be God's gift to women. Every time he walked into a room, somebody was turning heads. Like, he has to be so fine. And the way he put this on, and this cover model put that on, baby. Chain, pocket square, arms. Look at this. Woohoo! My God, today. This book here really did show me the possibility of someone really just understanding and being patient and knowing that it's not on my time. I understand what sacrifices mean, because Dresden was put between a rock and a hard place. He was willing to give up so much for a woman he hadn't even been with, a woman that he didn't even know what she could bring to his life. This man had Terrence come to him and say, hey, you and I both know I may not last 2-3 months. You and I both know that I am doing everything for my wife and my kids. At the time, let's talk about it. At the time, he believed that Terrence was still married to Harper. So he said, hey, I'm not going to see the end. And because I know you got a thing for my wife, I need you to do that. Now, I'm not going to put it all on you, because I will be willing to dedicate my body to science. And this was a secret that Dresden had to hold, because what could he do? He couldn't tell her. She wouldn't believe him. She'd be pissed off at him. Robbie waited, and we knew she was going to wait to the very end for this to come out. But when it came out, it was in the midst of a storm of everything else. By the time we got to the 90% mark, there was so many things that was going on. So many emotions were already high in charge, because the kids had got involved. You've got him and, him coming to realization of his feelings, her coming to her relationship for her feelings, and then to find out the secret. Baby, I said, we're at 90%, Robbie. We're supposed to be wrapping this up. The way in which your pen is on fire, I can't take it. I will say this. Harper frustrated me a little bit towards the end, because this man right here, this a good man, Savannah, and you are lighting him up. Like, you are so angry with him, but you're misplacing the anger. Like, And the fact that you are going so hard when this man has literally done all the things possible. Like, you told him, mind you, you told him that you feel uncomfortable in his home because he has pictures of his wife there. Baby, he is just getting to the point where he is starting to realize he wants to be with you. It's going to take him a moment to realize the ways in which he has to let his wife go. And I understand, because I understand my jealous streak, as I told you a little bit earlier. I understand where she is coming from, but the way in which it was approached to him, like, this woman has been his wife for 20 plus years, the mother of his kids. He has loved her every step of the way, and he is trying to come to terms with the fact that she is not here. It has been 3 years, yes, but 3 years in comparison to 20 years is a drop in a bucket. And so give him grace, have a conversation, but don't make it an ultimatum. And I just felt like, again, understanding we have insecurities and understanding that we want our partner to want us more than anything else. But realization, the truth of the matter is, it's going to take him a moment with Nina. But again, I understand, so I can't fault Harper too much. I just want to say that was my tinge of disappointment. But baby, the way this was so good, I could not take it. That man, that's a good man, Savannah. If y'all like a more emotional read, you like something that has maturity, that you have stakes of, like, you're invested because these people are feeling real. Their circumstance feels true. The stakes are high. This is the one for you. Now, let's go ahead and jump into talking about If You Stayed. Brittany Cherry, please come to the front. Let's talk about how this cover right here don't even begin to remotely tell you what's going on in this book. Because I understand we are now traditionally published. You can't put too much on the cover because you want to get the mass appeal. I want to say what really should be on the cover are these two. We should have Gabriel and we should have Kiera on the cover. I know why we don't. I know we understand why this two beautiful couples is not on the front. But when I tell you that don't let this cover fool you, this is riddled with emotions. There is some heavy topics on page, might I add. This one has topics such as domestic violence. It has some infidelity. It has gaslighting. It has a lot that's going on. But underneath it all, this is a beautiful second chance romance. Friends to lover. Definitely has some hurt comfort vibes. Y'all, I can't tell you how much I appreciate when I read a Brittany Cherry book, because I know the way that she is coming behind her characters. I love Gabriel down bad. This man, he has no recollection of parts of his life. And he has been feeling incomplete. But there are things about him that is just innate in his blood and his stream. And he knows that this woman is the woman for him. But what he doesn't realize, there are so many things that he has done in his life in honor to her, that when you see those touches, you can understand why Kiera is filled with, like, just yearning for this man. This does not really have spice. What I will tell you is neither one of these, because both of these are about the love story. It's about the tension. It's about the angst. It's about the passion. It's about the chemistry. These are not smutty reads. I'm going to say that first and foremost. So if that's typically what you get on my channel, just know that this is not that. And I loved every minute of it, because I really truly felt the connection between the characters. Like, this man has tattoos on his body dedicated to her. He has named his dog after her. He has things about him that he doesn't even know was waiting for her to click back into his life. And I appreciate that Brittany did not write it so that all the memories came flooding back once he knew. He believed everything that she said. He didn't need the proof because he felt it in his soul. Like, this is a soulmate connection. And I think that she handled the third act conflict really well, because it was like there, but it was wiped away. It is one of those things where, like, you know that your partner, your family members, people have harmed you, but because you love them so much and you know that you can't stay mad at them. I looked and I was reading and I said, that conflict was like a page and a half. But that's the true meaning of unconditional love. Like, you know that you love this person no matter what. And yes, they may have hurt you, but at the end of the day, did they do it intentionally? Did they want the best for you? And we even get to see that with his mom. His mom had kept some things from him, and he still was like, I love you too much to be harmful to you. I forgive you. Just know that I think we need to start anew. And loved it down bad. Some things that I really enjoyed about what Brittany did in this book is not only did she focus on some heavier topics, but she gave reality with it. The reality is that the American justice system doesn't necessarily believe domestic violence individuals. So there was skepticism that was threaded into this book of whether or not she should leave or she should stay. I loved how she wrote for things that happened. There was a major plot twist that happened towards the end of the book where the stakes were high, and I was like, how is she going to get out of this? Like, she is in this office with this person, and I don't really know how it's going to go. And with that plot twist, I felt like Brittany was going to leave us on a cliffhanger and we were never going to get that resolved. And Brittany was like, I didn't forget nothing. I got you, Lisa. I'm going to write that at the end. Like, it got so intense once we got to about 75% of the way that I am going to leave a clip right here. And you're going to see me in my kitchen losing my ever-loving mind. Now, just imagine, I'm looking at this book and I'm thinking, if you stayed the entire time, I thought that this was about if Gabriel had never had the accident, if they stayed in the house, if she never left his life, not realizing the title of this book was about the conversation that she was going to have with her husband's mother. And that was one of the most beautiful scenes that I had read, because this is one victim talking to another victim and they're sharing the stories, and she's like, I know what I went through and I know what you are going through, and I want you to know that I am here for you. I am a girl's girl. Like, I am trying to make sure you know, yes, that's my son. And truly, most parents know when they're raising a monster. They may ignore it. They may say, no, that's not what's happening. I didn't raise him that way. But Tamara knew what her son Henry was because she lived that. And she said, hey, I'm going to tell you that, yes, that may be my son. And I hate to see, there was a line where she said, the way in which you knew that you grew that man out of your womb, what that must be like as a mother to understand how it rips you apart from the inside, or something like that. Like, the writing, spectacular. Brittany Cherry is going to deliver every time. But when I said, like, when I realized that conversation between Kiera and Tamara, I said, yeah, this is it, baby. Brittany has done it again. Just know that both Dresden, Xavier, And Gabriel Sinclair are going to go in book Boyfriend History for 2026. I had a fantastic reading time. These both have such beautiful cursive. Cursive is a dying art form, but I am hopeful that we can keep having it revived on our covers and our pages. I want you to tell me if you have read either one of these books. Tell me what your thoughts are and down below in the chat. If you have not done that and you just simply want to leave an emoji, leave me a pencil and a pad or a paper, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.